The wind had always whispered through the rope bridges of the skyweave, the chain of islands that floated like a necklace above the endless blue. Children learned to read the currents before they could read a book, and the elders taught that every gust carried a story, a memory, a promise. On the smallest island, called Pebblecrest, lived a girl named Nara who could hear the wind's tales better than anyone else. Nara's home was a modest stone cottage perched on the edge of a cliff, its roof thatched with golden grasses that swayed even when the air was still. Her mother wove baskets from sky silk, and her father repaired the lanterns that lit the night paths. Nara spent her mornings helping, but her afternoons were hers alone, and she would climb the highest tower of the island's lighthouse to sit among the clouds. One bright afternoon, while the sun painted the horizon in amber, Nara felt a tremor in the wind that was different from the usual chatter of passing breezes. It was low, like a sigh, and it seemed to be calling her name. She closed her eyes, let the gust wrap around her, and heard a faint, melodic hum, something like a whale song but carried on air instead of water. "Come," the wind seemed to say, "follow the song." Nara's heart thumped with excitement. She slipped on her sturdy boots, slung a small satchel with a loaf of honey bread, a flask of cloud water, and a smooth stone she kept for luck. She descended the lighthouse steps, crossed the rope bridges, and set out toward the western ridge where the cliffs dropped into a sea of mist. The path grew steeper, and the wind grew louder, swirling around her like invisible hands. As she neared the edge, a massive shape emerged from the clouds, a creature as vast as a mountain, its body composed of soft, billowing vapor, its eyes twin spirals of silver light. It was a cloud whale, a legend spoken of in hushed tones by the islanders, said to roam the skies and carry the dreams of those who dared to listen. Nara froze, awe and fear tangled in her chest. The whale turned its massive head, and a gentle pulse of wind brushed her cheek, as if greeting an old friend. Its voice resonated not in words but in feelings, filling Nara's mind with images of distant islands, of children laughing under rainbow arches, of storms that sang lullabies. "Why do you call me?" Nara whispered, her voice barely rising above the wind's hum. The whale's eye glowed brighter, and a ripple of water-like vapor flowed from its mouth, forming a translucent bridge that stretched from the creature's belly down to the cliff's edge. "You hear the stories the wind carries," it said, "but you have never been given a chance to add your own." Nara stepped onto the bridge, feeling the cool mist cling to her skin. The bridge swayed, but the whale's presence steadied her. As she walked, the world below turned into a tapestry of clouds, each one a different shade of white, pink, or gold. The wind sang louder, and Nara realized that the song she had heard was not a single melody, but a chorus of countless voices: birds, children, old sailors, even the mountains themselves. When she reached the whale's back, the creature lowered its massive head, allowing her to sit upon a smooth, cloud-soft ridge. The whale's skin was warm, pulsing with a rhythm that matched the beating of Nara's heart. "Tell me," Nara said, "what do you need?" The whale's eyes dimmed for a moment, then brightened. "The skyweave is fraying," it said. "The rope bridges that hold the islands together are losing their strength. The wind that once sang with joy now carries a strain, a heaviness that will soon snap the ties if nothing is done. I have traveled far, listening to the currents, and I have learned that a single thread of true intention can mend the whole." Nara thought of the rope bridges, of the children who crossed them without fear, of the lanterns that guided travelers home. She felt a knot of determination tighten in her chest. "What can I do?" she asked. "The song you hear is not only a memory," the whale replied. "It is a living thing. If you can gather the purest notes, moments of kindness, courage, laughter, and weave them into a new melody, the wind will carry it to every strand of the skyweave. The bridges will feel the strength of that intention and hold fast." Nara's eyes widened. "But how do I collect a song?" The whale exhaled a gentle gust that lifted Nara's satchel, spilling its contents into the air. The honey bread dissolved into golden particles that drifted like fireflies. The flask of cloud water turned into sparkling droplets, and the smooth stone glowed with an inner light. "Take these," the whale said. "They are gifts of the sky. Use them to remind the people of Pebblecrest of the moments that bind us." Nara nodded, feeling the weight of the task settle like a warm cloak. She thanked the whale, and the bridge dissolved back into mist. The creature rose, its massive body disappearing into the horizon, leaving behind a trail of soft silver vapor that lingered like a promise. The journey back to Pebblecrest felt different. The wind, now aware of Nara's purpose, seemed to push her gently, as if urging her forward. When she reached the island square, the townsfolk were gathered around the central lantern, its light flickering weakly. The rope bridge that connected Pebblecrest to the neighboring island of Willowspire swayed precariously, its ropes frayed at the edges. Nara climbed onto a stone bench and opened her satchel. The honey bread particles floated upward, forming a luminous swirl that hovered above the crowd. She lifted the flask of cloud water, and a fine mist rose, wrapping the onlookers in a cool, refreshing veil. The smooth stone pulsed, and a soft hum resonated from it like a tiny bell. "Listen," Nara called, her voice steady. "Remember the day we first crossed the bridge together, when the wind was so strong it lifted our skirts and made us laugh? Remember the night the lanterns guided the lost fishermen home? Remember the kindness of the baker who gave us extra rolls when we were hungry?" As she spoke, the particles of honey bread glowed brighter. The mist thickened into shapes of past moments. Children holding hands, an old man sharing stories, a mother cradling a newborn. The stone's hum grew into a melodic chord that seemed to echo through the very air. The crowd fell silent, eyes wide, as the memories swirled around them. A little boy, who had once been afraid of the height of the bridge, felt his fear melt away as he recalled the first time his sister had held his hand and whispered, "We're together, and the wind can't hurt us." An elderly woman remembered the night she had rescued a stray kitten from a storm, feeling the warmth of that act still in her heart. The fisherman's eyes glistened as he recalled the lantern's steady glow that had guided him back to his family after a tempest. The wind, hearing these recollections, changed. It lifted the honey bread particles higher, turning them into a cascade of golden light that fell like rain upon the rope bridge. The mist settled onto the frayed ropes, seeping into the fibers, making them supple again. The stone's cord resonated through the island, traveling along the wind's invisible pathways, reaching every knot and strand of the skyweave. A soft, harmonious hum rose from the bridge itself, as if the ropes were singing. The frayed edges glowed, then knit together, tighter than before. The bridge swayed, but this time it sang, a song of unity, of shared moments, of love that held the islands aloft. The townspeople cheered, their voices joining the wind's new melody. Nara felt a warm glow spread through her chest, as if the very sky was thanking her. She looked up, and beyond the clouds, she could see the silhouette of the cloud whale, its massive form gliding gracefully, its silver eyes reflecting the renewed song. Days turned into weeks, and the skyweave thrummed with renewed vigor. The rope bridges, now reinforced by the collective memory of the people, held firm even during the fiercest storms. Lanterns shone brighter, their light guided by the wind's gentle hand. Children played on the bridges, their laughter adding new notes to the ever-growing song. Nara continued to visit the lighthouse tower, not just to watch the clouds, but to listen for new stories the wind might bring. Sometimes she heard distant cries for help, sometimes the soft sigh of a lonely star. Each time, she remembered the lesson of the cloud whale, that a single thread of true intention, woven from kindness and courage, could bind the world together. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in shades of violet and rose, Nara stood on the lighthouse balcony, her satchel empty but her heart full. The wind brushed her cheek, carrying a faint, familiar hum. She smiled, knowing that the song would never end as long as there were ears to hear it and hands willing to weave it. Below, the islands floated peacefully, their bridges humming a lullaby that reached even the farthest corners of the sky. And somewhere, high above, the great cloud whale sang along, its massive body rippling with the rhythm of a world held together by stories, by memories, and by the quiet bravery of a girl who listened to the wind. In the years that followed, Nara grew into a storyteller, traveling from island to island, sharing the cloud whale and the song that saved the skyweave. Children would gather around her, eyes wide with wonder, while adults nodded, remembering the night they had felt the wind's gentle embrace. And each time she finished, she would look up, and if the wind was kind, she could hear a distant, low-sounding whale song, an echo of gratitude that reminded everyone that the world, no matter how high it floated, was held together by the simple, powerful act of listening and caring. Thus, the skyweave remained, not merely a chain of floating islands, but a living tapestry of shared moments, each thread a note in a song that would forever drift on the wind, guiding hearts wherever they roamed.